everyone, it's me, Jenna Ryan, and this is part 2 of how to stop seeking nurture from a betrayal source. You need to watch video 1 to really understand what I'm talking about whenever I say betrayal source or nurture. And I'll just recap really quickly. A lot of people, including myself in the past, have had problems and do have continuing problems returning to people who are abusive towards them. It's like, I heard a story one time about a wolf who is attached to a knife in the ground. And the knife is sticking up. And the wolf is licking the knife, and its tongue is bleeding. And the taste of the blood on the knife is good, so the wolf keeps licking that knife. And that knife is causing that wolf to bleed to death. So the great taste of that blood on that knife is causing the wolf to kill itself. And that's just a story I heard one time that really describes the process of allowing someone into your life and seeking nurture from someone who has been abusive towards you or someone who you know is not good for you. It causes you to leak your own sustenance, your own energy, and it causes you to pour your energy to an external source that is not providing you back with what you need. You're not getting anything back. A true healthy relationship is a reciprocal relationship. It's an equal relationship among two people with boundaries who are able to share and express their feelings and are able to grow with one another. Whenever you are in a relationship that's unhealthy, that's toxic, this causes one party to get all the good out of the situation. And one of the parties, which, if you're watching this video, it's very likely going to be you, because somebody that's an abuser probably won't be watching this video. But what happens is you're in a relationship that is take. And you may feel like, well, I get some good out of this because I really like this person, and at least I get him for 5 minutes, or at least I get to be with her for 5 minutes, or at least I get to hear her voice on the phone, or at least, and we make all of these excuses. But at the end of the day, a perpetrator, someone who is betraying you, and they will betray you again. When someone shows you who they are, you need to listen. You need to pay attention. And you need to stop allowing yourself to go around someone who is harming you in any way, shape, and form. They don't have to be physically hitting you across the face in order for it to be abusive and cause it to be an energy drain for you. They don't have to be actually physically hitting you. It can cause you damage if they are just emotionally abusive to you, or if they're manipulating you, or doing anything to take from you. Your job, your responsibility as a person on this planet, whether or not you realize it or not, is to yourself. You are here for you, and you can't leak parts of you out to people who aren't giving back, because if you do, you're going to end up being in emotional pain eventually. Now, going back to someone who has betrayed you really, really reeks of addiction. It's the core root of addiction. Actually, children who didn't get their needs met properly in childhood grow up to be children who don't get their needs met in adulthood. And not getting your needs met means binding, attaching to a betrayal source, a source of frustration, and wanting to be around someone who actually is abusive towards you. This is very common among adult children of alcoholics, ACA people. And it's common among love addiction, people that are addicted to love. And that's basically what it is. If you're allowing someone who's harmed you back into your life, then that means you're addicted to that person, and you've really got to deal with the issues. So here's the deal. Like, let's say you're going to get someone out of your life that's bad for you. I want you to sit there and I want you to think about all the things, like, let's say you just break up with somebody and you decide that this person is no longer good for you. Now, there's a lot leading up to that, so let's just skip for sake of time. Okay, let's say, so what you want to do, okay, think about a time when you broke up with somebody or break up with somebody right now, whatever you're thinking. That does not make sense. Don't listen to that.
'em. 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 '
first thing you do is feel what? You feel pain, okay? Do you know that feeling you feel whenever you want to pick up the phone and call somebody that you know is not good for you, but at least it's somebody, you're so lonely? Or you're kind of feeling kind of edgy and you don't know what to do, and there's only one person, that mean person, or that person who's really not doing me right. I want to call that person. That person is the person I call. Instead of calling a list of people that are fabulous to me and treat me well and are kind to me, I push those people away, and then I want to be around, and this is not me anymore, I'm just saying I as an example, but wanting to be around someone who is a poor choice, okay, a bad decision. That tells me that there's pain, there's addiction there. And so what you have to do whenever you do this, instead of reaching for the phone to call the person, instead of reaching for the betrayal source, instead of going off into la-la land and pretending like things are all great, instead of criticizing yourself and tearing yourself up and blaming yourself for the demise of the relationship in order to justify to yourself why you're letting them back in your life, instead of doing all of those things, if you would just sit for a moment in that pain, if you would just sit for a moment with yourself in the pain, okay? Here I am right now. I really want to call so-and-so. And I really want to call so-and-so. I really want to call so-and-so. And then you have to start using self-talk to start untangling what's really going on. Why do I want to call so-and-so? He's already, done this to me or that to me. Why would I want to be around this person? You really have to snap yourself back to life, and you have to be in control. You have to have internal boundaries of willpower and self-control, and so that your behavior can be appropriately adjusted to save your energy from leaking out, and your self-love and all the wonderful things that you're all about from leaking out all over for this person who's never going to give anything back. You only have so many resources. You've got to protect your resources. If you just give people your credit card and tell them to go into your bank, they're going to go into your bank and steal your money, and you're not going to have any money. And how are you going to pay your bills? It's the same thing with relationships. You can't just go back to an abusive person. Now, generally speaking, you're not just going to go back to an abusive person. You're going to have a lot of reasons. How we justify things. There's a lot of cognitive distortions. There's a lot of denial. There's a lot of betrayal blindness where we just kind of don't pick up on that little thing that they did or this little thing that they did, and we let them get by with stuff, and we make excuses for them, and we don't even realize we're doing it, but we are. If you're letting someone back into your life who has abused you or harmed you, and you know for a fact that that person is not good for you, and your healthy self tells you no, 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 hopefully you have a healthy self. If you don't, then you need to work on getting to your healthy self, because everybody has a healthy self inside. Everyone has a healthy voice. There is a healthy voice. You just have to learn to listen to it and allow it to speak and give it space. So that's what you're doing whenever you're sitting in that pain. You're sitting in the pain. I want to call Mark. I don't know who Mark is, but let's say I want to call Mark, and I'm like, I really want to call, but I want to call. I want to get this pain away. I want to get this pain away right now. And whenever I go out with Mark, and Mark's so good to me, and then I start thinking about the positive things, and then I start tricking myself and fooling myself into thinking that Mark is the greatest thing on earth, and pretty soon I've idealized him to be higher than me, to be higher than myself. I'm abandoning myself because myself is in pain. And I'm saying, sorry, self, I'm going to fix your pain with some outside source. Sorry, self, I'm going to have a drink. Sorry, self, I need a cigarette. Sorry, self, I need a shot of heroin. Sorry, self, I need a Xanax. Sorry, self, I need some food. Sorry, self, I need to do this. I need to do that. Sorry, self, just, I'll deal with you later. Or I'll deal with you never. Okay? Look, self, I'm going to get this pain gone, because whenever pain comes up, of course you want to get rid of it. Nobody can blame you for that. That's part of how we were wired. We were wired to get rid of our pain. But the problem is this hardwiring and the traumatic experience that you've had in your life and you're going through right now is causing you to lose blood, is causing you to go downhill. And I promise you, you can make all the excuses in the world that you want to. This person, if you allow them back in without having very, very good boundaries and them having a lot of healing and both of you having healing, then it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Relationships don't just get better on their own. You have to have two healthy people who know how to function together appropriately, give and take equally. Both people have to be present. You can't have one person who's given up their self for the third party. That you can't have a relationship that way. The relationship is doomed to failure. If you give yourself up for it, it's going to end, and it's going to end badly. And you're the one who gives yourself up, so you're the one who's going to hurt the most. So you're the one who really needs to be watching this video, and that's why you're watching this video today. It's because I'm going to get this information across to you on how I healed from this issue and how I now have inner strength and inner self-love to be able to say, no, thanks. I'm not interested. Thanks anyway, but I've got other things to do. You know, so that's what we're talking about today. So, so let's talk about, where was I going to go with that? Okay. So did I tell you whenever people show you who they are, you need to believe them? You need to believe it. And you need to, oh, I know what I was talking about. Okay, so sitting with the pain. What do you do with this pain? Well, we're not taught as children, especially, I don't know, society's just got a problem. We're not taught as children, if you've been abused in this way, we're not taught as children to process our emotions or even be with our emotions. When we're little, we're taught, don't cry, be quiet, or I'll give you something to cry about. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about, or don't worry, be happy, or just having people really assault our truth, our true self, our true feelings. And so we run from our pain because we were never taught what to do with our pain. Because our pain is scary. We're like, oh my gosh, I feel like crap, and I want to call somebody, because as a child, you had to call on a parent or a caretaker who wasn't able to adequately meet your needs. And so you're just doing that same thing today, repeating a pattern over and over again until you get the lesson. So you're going back to that source, and you're not dealing with your pain. You're just trying to stick a sock in your pain mouth. You're trying to stick a sock in your mouth. Be quiet. I don't want to hear another word. I don't want to deal with my pain. I don't deal with pain. You don't want to deal with pain. But the fact of the matter is that we are hardwired to attach, and this attachment system works against you whenever you've gone through anything traumatic as a child and you didn't get your needs met properly. It works against you and causes you to be attracted to people who are bad for you. It's kind of like, I like to think of it like a duck. Like when a baby duck is born, it follows its little duck mom. Well, if your needs were not adequately met and you experienced any trauma or abuse in childhood or just neglect, then you are going to be imprinted to love someone like that. And that's what's going to happen, just like a baby duck follows its mama. And that's what's happening. And you have to intervene as an adult with the brain because you're hardwired to be freaked out. You're hardwired to be freaked out about the pain. Your lower brain, your what do they call it? Midbrain, your deep instincts about the problem is that you're just going to die. Subconsciously, I mean, we're so hardwired to attach as children that we literally think that we're going to die. And it's true, as children you're going to die. But right now, you're an adult, and you're not going to die without this person. And you're not going to die if you sit with your pain. Now, there's some ways to soothe your pain, and there's some things you can do to help yourself out of the pain without reaching for the knife, without reaching for this person who is causing you to leak self-esteem and your identity. I'm Jenna Ryan. This is part 2 of how to stop seeking nurture from the betrayal source. Watch video 3, coming soon. Talk to you soon. I love you guys. Make sure you share my posts, like them, leave comments, love reading them, and join our Facebook page community. Self-love you. Talk to you soon.